What's up, guys? It's Aaronitmar, and today we are talking about Echo Fighters. Alright, last time I did that, you guys said that I was using reverb, so I made sure that I was using echo this time, okay? I don't want to hear any complaining in the comments. But today we are going to be talking about the potential for an Echo Fighter pass and characters that we may see on it. I just love the idea of an Echo Fighter pass because there is a tragic number of Echo Fighters in the game. There are only 7 characters that are properly classified as Echoes according to the Smash website and the game itself. Even characters that were introduced originally as clones, like Young Link or Dr. Mario, are now sufficiently different enough to be considered their own characters, so that number could be bigger, but it's not. And for the small price of like $5 or something, I think that adding around 5 characters that are Echoes would be super cool. It would help flesh out the already huge roster, and it wouldn't really take too much development strain. I've made a video about this before, so if I don't mention a character that you expected in this list, I probably talked about them in the first video, so I recommend checking that out if you haven't already. But with that, let's jump in with the first character, which is Miss PacMan. In the popularity of the PacMan arcade game, a ton of remakes and spin-offs were created for other arcade cabinets as well as home consoles and handhelds, and Miss PacMan was one of those. Gameplay-wise, this game featured different maps, power-ups, and enemy behaviors, but Miss PacMan's controls and appearance was largely the same as normal Pac-Man's. Miss PacMan was literally just a resprite with, a bow and some lipstick on, so you could even say that perhaps she was just an echo of Pac-Man in the first place. Or you could say that Luigi was the first echo ever. I mean, Sakurai said it in the Ken presentation, so it's gotta be true. Anyway, Miss PacMan has also been able to do a lot of things that Pac-Man has done, and honestly, they've never really been too concerned with echoes matching entirely, given Simon and Richter both have moves that they've never personally used in their own games. It's also something that I know a lot of people have personally wanted, and I've seen plenty of chatter online that Miss PacMan seemed like a no-brainer, and personally, I really agree. It also seems like a shame that Bandai Namco wasn't at least given a second character, even an Echo Fighter, in the second game that they helped develop. Pac-Man was seemingly added because of Bandai Namco's hand in Smash 4's development, so I expected something from their end for the development of Ultimate. But unfortunately, no, we still only have the yellow cheese wedge, which I'm happy about, but I also just want more. Give me Miss PacMan. Now let's talk about Alf, who has a really strange creation in terms of Smash. Back in Smash 4, Alf was originally intended to be a clone character of Olimar. He was going to work pretty much the same way, but he would also use Rock Pikmin, which was a new addition that was added in his game, Pikmin 3. But because of development time, he was relegated to simply an alternate costume for Olimar. And ironically, this was pretty much the opposite of what happened with Smash 4's clone characters. Dr. Mario, Lucina, and Dark Pit were all originally going to simply be alternate costumes for their base characters, but Sakurai wanted to give them different details, different weapons and animations, and so he made them their own separate characters. But Alf, originally meant to be a separate character, ended up just being an alternate costume. And with Smash Ultimate and the creation of Echo Fighters, I really would have thought that Alf would have broken away to become an Echo Fighter. He really seems like the odd man out. Olimar and Alf are the only fighters that are 2 different characters compiled into a single slot. We have Bowser Jr. and the Koopalings, but they kind of make sense, aside from their final smash. So it's always just struck me as odd that Alf was a simple costume for Olimar in Smash 4, and it stayed that way in Ultimate. And so while this one is something that I don't think would ever happen because it would fundamentally change part of the base game already, I just think it would be neat if he got released as an Echo Fighter and it basically separated Olimar and Alf into 2 characters. Alf could finally get his Rock Pikmin and maybe some unique taunts and animations, and then you would also get 4 new alts each for Olimar and Alf since they only have 4 each in the base game. Now following this is Blaziken, the final evolution of Torchic, the fire starter from the Hoenn Pokemon games. I've always thought that Blaziken would be cool in Smash. He was the first to start the fire fighting trend for starters, and he just seemed like a really good fit. Although now that we have Incineroar, which means that with Charizard there are already 2 fire starter Pokemon in the game, 3 seems like a little much. But on paper, conceptually, Blaziken just seems like he would be so much fun. But if you were relegated to an Echo, who would he be an Echo Fighter of? It wouldn't be Greninja, it wouldn't be Lucario, or really any Pokemon, it would be Captain Falcon. Now yeah, that seems pretty out there, especially because anyone labeled an Echo Fighter so far has not been from a different series. So an F-Zero character having an Echo Fighter from the Pokemon series does seem strange. But I think this would be a really cool way to mix things up and surprise fans. For those of you who played Smash 4 extensively and dabbled in mods, you may remember that there was a mod that put Blaziken over Captain Falcon. And to be honest, if you didn't know that the character moveset was Captain Falcon's, say you were very new to Smash and you were still learning things, you might honestly believe that Blaziken was his own fighter in the game, and that was his personal moveset. It just matched so well. Aside from the general fighting type-ish moveset that Captain Falcon has, his special moves could easily be named after Pokemon moves. Falcon Kick could be Blaze Kick, Falcon Punch could be Fire Punch, and Raptor Boost could be Flame Charge. But then there's also room for adjustments if you don't want him to be exactly the same as Captain Falcon. Say you don't want Blaziken to have the same up special as Falcon Dive, so you can make it Sky Uppercut, which is similar in nature in the way that it goes up, but it could have a different finisher and not have that grab effect that Captain Falcon has. But honestly, it's almost scary how perfect Captain Falcon's moveset is for Blaziken already, that if Blaziken was going to be added as an Echo Fighter, I would be 100% on board. That would just make so much sense to me. Next is one that everyone says should be an Echo Fighter, and that is none other than Dry Bowser. In New Super Mario Bros. For the DS, Bowser falls into lava after the World 1 boss fight, and he apparently gets all of his skin and organs disintegrated right in front of Mario. Now that is what I call metal. Afterwards, he becomes Dry Bowser, and this variation on Bowser has been a regular in the Mario series for quite some time, being an additional character in a lot of the party, tennis, kart, and even Olympic games, as well as continuing to be a semi-regular boss in the main series Mario games. Now because this is literally still Bowser, it's just like a different appearance that he has, the differences between them are pretty minimal. I could see there being different animations, like maybe when Dry Bowser gets hit, his head could maybe spin because it's not actually attached to his body at all. But largely I think the character would mostly be the same. The biggest difference, of course, would be that Dry Bowser typically breathes blue fire rather than the red fire that normal Bowser breathes. But with how similar Bowser and Dry Bowser are, they would be about as different as Peach and Daisy are in the game. The exact same moveset, and the only differences are that they are entirely aesthetic. You could honestly swap between the two freely, and you'd probably notice zero difference if you mained them. But personally, I think that Dry Bowser should be an alternate costume. Now maybe that's the Project M fanboy in me talking, since Dry Bowser is an alternate costume in that game, or maybe just the modder in general because I love alternate costumes. But if I were choosing, I think that a costume would be my choice over an alternate character or a clone. But whichever way the cookie crumbles, I would love to see Dry Bowser in the game. As an Echo, as a costume, it would just be cool to see him. And finally, Proto Man would be a fantastic addition as an Echo Fighter. In the lore, Proto Man was, as his name suggests, a prototype robot built before Mega Man by Dr. Light. As a result, a lot of Mega Man's abilities are shared by Proto Man. He has a standard Buster attack as well as the ability to charge it up. He can slide, and he can use other Robot Master's attacks, so it wouldn't really cause confusion to see him using Metal Blade or Needle Cannon, for example, because he can absorb Robot Master's attacks just as well as Mega Man can. Additionally, he has a shield that he uses, so that could potentially make for a nice distinction between the two characters. Proto Man could simply hold the shield as his default position, and if he isn't using an attack, it could protect him from projectiles, just like the 3 Link shields. Although now that I'm saying it, a Mega Man that can avoid projectile spam really doesn't sound fun, so maybe don't let him use his shield if he's in the game. But unfortunately, this one of all the Echo Fighters on this list seems the least likely, yes, including Blaziken, because Proto Man was recently added to the game as a Mii Gunner costume in the most recent wave of content. Now, this doesn't necessarily write him off as a character entirely, as many of the new fighters like Chrom, King K. Rool, and Isabelle all have Mii Fighter skins in the game as well, but the Smash team adding Proto Man once again as DLC kinda suggests that there wouldn't really be any plans to add him in the game later. Of course, the concept of an Echo Pass is entirely a fan creation, and we've had no hint or any kind of suggestion from developers, so anything is possible. If they wanted to add Proto Man, they would just add Proto Man. And those are the 5 characters that I think would be cool on an Echo Fighter Pass. Now, that's just 5 characters for this video because, like I said at the beginning, there is a first video where I cover all kinds of other characters, and basically now I've covered 2 Echo Passes worth of characters on YouTube. So I would love to know what you guys think about the characters that I talked about in this video. Do you like them? Would you like them as Echo Fighters, or would you prefer them to be full-on original characters? To me, there's some where there just isn't enough deviation between the original character and the Echo that you really would have enough to make a new moveset. I mean, Proto Man or Dry Bowser, for example, really are kind of similar to the original character that I posed in the video in the first place. I mean, Proto Man really just has Mega Man's moveset, for example, and Dry Bowser is just Bowser, so they would be pretty much exactly the same. But then there are other characters like Miss PacMan or Blaziken where there's enough source material to give them a potentially really unique original moveset rather than just making them a clone. And if they were a clone, I could see people being upset that they didn't have a more original moveset. So I'd love to know your thoughts on that. Have I given decent characters for Echoes? Have I missed someone? Or have I really missed the mark when it comes to some of these characters? I would love to know down in the comments what you guys think about anything and everything I talked about in this video. Thanks for watching. If you guys enjoyed, be sure to hit the like button and be sure to subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace out, and I hope you guys have an awesome day.